So when you see these hair vendors talking about some Burmese raw, not Burmese curly, but when they throw the word raw in front of it, talking about some raw Burmese curly, I'd be like, that don't exist. It's your girl again, back with another video. So in today's video, I'm sure you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about hair. Before we get into the video, you guys know what I ask. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning support, thank you for coming back. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, you know. Also, make sure you guys are following me on other social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, you know, help me grow. I've always said that if you guys have questions, need help, please feel free to reach out to me, Instagram, DM. I'm here to help in any way that I can. With that said, I feel as though my Instagram DMs are what inspired me to make this video. So obviously, majority of people who come to my page are here because of my hair content. I am the #1 hair reviewer. No point in saying like I'm just gonna say this, like that's really what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, good, bad, and different. I'm gonna tell you what I feel as though no one else is gonna tell you here on YouTube. And not saying, sorry, my nose is running, not saying that no one else on here is gonna give you honest content. I think the content is honest based on either the amount of time that they're using it or their actual expertise. So sometimes people mislead you unknowing that they're misleading you. So the main thing, right, so we are gonna start, just dive right in and talk about raw hair. What is raw hair? Let's start there, because it seems like some people are confused by what raw hair is. So raw hair means that the hair has not been processed, and by not processed, it has not been steam processed, it has not been chemically processed, it has not been dyed. It has just been cut off of the donor's head, washed or sanitized, sewn to a weft, and then sold. Pretty much that's it in a nutshell. So when you're looking for raw hair, and I kind of see this like a lot, so this is the reason why I wanted to make a video. Raw hair, and I could be wrong, I'm not, you know, the best. I'm good at what I do, but I'm sure there's always going to be someone who's better. I'm just speaking from my experience and my expertise. I've coined myself my own expert. But what to look for when you're looking for raw hair. So as you guys recall, I was a brand ambassador for Juicy Hair Affair, and in being a brand ambassador, she actually taught me a lot about hair. So hair typically only comes in 3 textures. You have raw Indian straight, which is like a texture like this. This is the natural texture. All right. We have wavy. So this can be interpreted as straight as well. Now you're probably wondering, like, why would this be straight? So the reason that this would be straight is because the shorter the hair, the more scrunched. Clearly I'm not a professional, but I don't know the right term for it, but I think you guys understand what I mean. But the shorter the hair, the more defined the curls are gonna be. So that's why, even though those two are the same texture, this one looks a little bit different. So you'll see like the curls are like towards the end, but because of the weight of the hair, it's kind of stretched out a little bit more towards the top. You then have Indian wavy. Now the closure on this is curly, but the texture back here is wavy, so you can see where the curl pattern is a little bit tighter. So even though the hair is longer, you can still see where the curls are a little bit tighter throughout the hair. And then the hair that I'm wearing on my head is Indian curly, so it's a lot tighter of a curl. Track is showing. Anybody gonna see that? But yeah, it's a much tighter curl. So those are the 3 textures that hair will come in. And I know you have like Cambodian hair, and I believe they do tantra their hair as well. I'm not sure what they call it there, don't quote me, but I know in India they tantra it. I have to get that. In India they tantra it for religious purposes. What is, let me get myself together here real quick. But they tantra it for religious purposes, which is why Indian hair is more commonly on the market than some of these other textures. Now recently, and not knocking anybody, I've been seeing Burmese curly. And I've been wanting to talk about Burmese curly for a really long time. Burmese curly, as far as I can tell, Now I could be wrong. No problem if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm gonna cite my sources on Google over here. And Google, not to say like everything you see on Google is accurate. However, when you look up Burma, which is where Burmese hair comes from, Burma women, their hair is kind of like a coarse straight. Very similar looking to Cambodian hair. So when you see these hair vendors talking about some Burmese raw, not Burmese curly, but when they throw the word raw in front of it, talking about some raw Burmese curly, I'd be like, that don't exist. Like, and I'm not saying the hair is not good, because, honey, this, nah, she's not looking her best because she's been sitting on a chair. If y'all know, if y'all been on my channel, y'all know, you know, sometimes we sit on a chair. So this is a steam process curled wig that I got from Terry Styles. Shout out to her, because she was really honest. Like when I asked her like, hey, you know, about the hair, she straight up told me like, no, it's steam process. I paid, this was originally 26 inches and I paid $8.50 for it, but I cut it because, you know, it's 4 years. It got a little tangled. It is what it is. You know, that's typically what will happen with processed hair, is that it tends to tangle and mat a little bit faster. But I got, sorry, 5 years out of it. So am I really gonna be mad about it? No. So the reason that I brought that on is to say like, hey, you know, steam curls are not bad, but you know, when you're marketing it, like the minute you alter the curl pattern, alter the color, you can't say that it's raw any longer. I've said this before. I said this a few months ago. I have no idea what's going on in the hair market, because it's crazy. Like prior to me getting this frontal, and if you guys recall in the video where I unboxed this, I have been waiting for this since August. So I literally waited 5 months to get this frontal, and that was because I bought multiple, so not multiple, I bought two. I bought a frontal from, was it a frontal? Might have been a frontal or a closure, I can't remember at this point, but it was a lace product that I purchased from Honey Hair Company, and I was disappointed. The quality wasn't what I expected. It wasn't raw. And I also bought a frontal from 7 Strands, and it wasn't raw hair. And I'm like, we can go back and forth all day long. Like, clearly I have a lot of hair, so if I'm telling you that, hey, you know, it's not raw hair, it might have started as raw hair, but the curls were steam processed. Like they were flat, and I'm like, market this to somebody else. Don't market it to me. I'm telling you, it's not raw hair. I just want my money back. And eventually I got it back, but I just have no idea what's going on in the hair world where people will feel as though you can turn around and tell me something is raw when I can look at it and tell you it's processed. Now, the majority of the time when I look at pictures, I can tell it's processed. Sometimes, you know, with the bad lighting, I'm like, all right, maybe, you know, I could be looking at it wrong. That was the case with Curlicious. Like when I looked at some of her pictures, I'm like, all right, some of the pictures look good, some of the pictures look not so good. But her hair is raw, and her hair is really good. Her hair is actually really, really soft. If you guys haven't checked her out, please check her out. I would say tell her Kim sent you. I get nothing out of it. It just helps you guys out when you come to my channel looking for raw hair, but Curlicious is definitely one. Some things that you can look at when you're looking to raw hair is, again, the 3 things that I mentioned, the textures. With some of these other textures now becoming popular because they look a little bit better than the 3 standard textures, I feel as though it confuses a lot of people, even myself. Like I was confused. Like I said, Burmese curly. I'm like, Burmese curly, I gotta do a little bit of research into this because I've never heard of it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just I've never heard of it. And like I said, when I looked on Google and I looked up Burma women, I'll put it up over here, they don't have curly hair, so obviously it's not a raw texture. I kind of feel that a lot of hair company owners need to better educate themselves. So right now, as it stands, I'm really just sticking with Indian hair, and if I have to get Malaysian hair, I'll get it from True Indian Hair. Shout out to them. I've been buying hair from them for the longest. They're also one of the hair companies I'd recommend. I'm probably going to do a video on that next, just because I haven't done one in a few years, of hair companies that I would recommend at the moment in terms of having like good hair, raw hair. So shout out to True Indian Hair. But like I said, raw hair really only comes in 3 textures: Indian straight, wavy, and then curly. Anything like a kinky curly or like a Burmese curly, those things don't exist naturally. Now, the other thing that I've come to find out is that some of these hair companies, like 7 Strands, like I mentioned, like when I got that frontal from them that was steam processed, is that Curly hair is hard to come by. The reason curly hair is hard to come by is because women who have hair that's naturally like this curl texture tend to not want to cut their hair. So it's a harder thing to get to be able to sell. So if I see somebody offering curly hair, I'm gonna scrutinize it a little bit more because it's a harder thing to come by. The other thing is, like, where does raw hair come from? So typically raw hair will come from like India. You might get raw hair coming from Cambodia. Those are really the only ones that I see. Malaysian hair, I do believe they tantra their hair. Not tantra. Tantra is, I know, a religious thing in India. I'm not sure if it applies to any other region. Don't quote me on that because I'm not certain. But I know Malaysia, they do also cut and sell their hair. So I'd probably say those are probably the 3 places I would check for. Now, I'm very well versed in Malaysian hair. I used to buy it a lot from True Indian Hair, and some of their Malaysian hair lasted me over 10 years. Now, this is some of their Malaysian hair, Malaysian and Indian. Yeah, over processed this. That's why it looks the way that it looks. But when I tell you their hair can take a beating, especially like the Malaysian hair is just, I don't know. If you're looking for something that's a little bit heavier, now I like how nice and light Indian hair is, but Malaysian hair is just, I don't know. It really had me hooked for a really long time until I tried Indian, but those are really going to be my main textures, is Indian hair and Malaysian hair. So the other thing is how to know if your hair company is informed and worthy. I feel as though you should be able to freely ask a hair company any questions, and the minute they give you like hesitance or give you an attitude, for me that's a sign that, hey, maybe you're not doing your due diligence in terms of like quality control to check the hair to make sure that it is what it says it is. Or if I receive the hair and I'm giving you feedback and I know it's an immediate thing. I see it a lot with hair companies. Like I said, I experienced that with 7 strands. I experienced it with partial hair extensions, where I'm giving you feedback on hair and you assume that I'm like a lot of people who don't know a lot about hair, and it's immediately dismissed. Now, in the case of 7 strands, I did purchase that frontal, and when I emailed them, they had no idea who I was in my channel or my background. So obviously, you know, they're gonna dismiss it. But when it came to partial hair extensions, like, you sought me out because of my expertise, and then when I told you what it was, you immediately dismissed my claim. So why would you turn around and say I'm an expert, but I'm not an expert when I don't give you the response that you're looking for? So, you know, just make sure that you're with a hair company who is, you know, cross-checking and not, sad to say, no matter how long you've been in business with the vendor, especially not post-pandemic, don't just trust what the hair company, or the owner says. You know, make sure you do your own research. Look at the textures. Texture is #1. If I see a texture that doesn't align with the 3 textures that are natural, doesn't matter the origin of the hair, I'm gonna be, you know, questioning if the rest of what you're selling is what you says it is what you say it is. So for example, like I said, I'll bring this back on camera. This is straight. This is considered straight. No one's hair is naturally bone straight. It's always going to have some sort of a wave pattern. So for me, if I see that you're selling hair and it's naturally bone straight, red flag #1. Yeah. This is also considered straight. Again, the shorter texture is going to have a wavier pattern because it's less hair weighing down the hair, which is why the waves on this one is towards the end of the hair. But you can see natural luster, natural texture, like, yeah. These are raw hair. So, like I said, I wanted to come on here and make that video for you guys so that you guys can know what to look for when you're shopping around for raw hair. And like I said, I'm always available. I'm in my robe, sorry. Still getting ready to do these videos, pictures for Instagram. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to me in my Instagram DM. I am here. When I say here to help, I mean I'm here to help in any way that I can to help you find whatever works for you. Even if it's not raw hair, I can recommend some AliExpress type hair companies as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. But that is all I have for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the way to 10K. But that wraps this video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.